Howdy folks, and I hope X marks the spot wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today, under the spotlight, it's Hot Toys' take on Harrison Ford, aka Indiana Jones, from the 2023 James Mangold directed Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Usual format folks, box, accessories, figure, then going out with the usual showcase at the end. But before we dive in, as always, I'd like to send a massive shout out to everyone who supported Go Figure. And please drop a like on this review as it helps other people find the channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the 1/6 scale news, views and reviews that we've got coming up. So, where to begin with the dial tone of dysentery? Rewritten multiple times, often during and after filming. Edited with a spoon, and overall a Nazi loot-carrying train wreck of a movie, and not the epitaph befitting one of silver screen's most beloved adventure icons in my opinion. The first 20 minutes are amazing, old school Indy as he battles Nazis while escaping with only a second to spare with some religious artifact or icon or something along those lines. But after that it's pretty much all downhill as we watch a CGI'd 80-year-old fight henchman twice his size and a third his age. Bad script, poorly paced in my opinion, plot holes all over the place, even Indy's whip can't get him out of, all accompanied by an annoying giraffe who runs like me when I was 3. But Mr. Go Figure, why have you bought a figure from a movie you don't like, I hear you collectively cry? Well, there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1, hard to believe it, I know, but Mr. Go Figure doesn't have an Indy figure in the collection, much to my shame. I've been tempted over the years by the DX05, but the head sculpt's a little dated now, and the pleather outfit will most likely turn to dust as soon as I open the box. Some third parties have had a go, but nothing inspired me to put my hand in my pocket. And number 2, I love Raiders of the Lost Ark and the character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a custom Raiders head sculpt and I'm going to stick it on this figure so I can have the best of both worlds. And I'll have a reminder of Indy the way I want to remember him. But enough of my Raiders ramblings, onto the box. And a big box it is too. Let's stop it from spinning and have a quick look at it. Puts me in mind of DX figures actually, with the size and the design, but it's a little bit well, not misleading, but the actual box itself, rather than a DX box which has that magnetic clasp on the right hand side and that super high quality card, this one's a little bit on the thin side, a bit on the flimsy side, but it's what we've come to expect these days with corner cutting regarding budgets. But very impressive box it is too, shoebox design. What you've got on the front here is a stylized picture of Indy himself with a sort of globe stroke map in the background, and it's done in these browns and these sort of yellows and golds to give it that aged look. You've got a shot of the train here, once again in that stylized manner, with Indy on top fighting the Nazi in the best part of the movie in my opinion. It says Hot Toys, movie masterpiece at the bottom, Indiana Jones, Deluxe edition this one, and it says the Dial of Density there as well. Around the side it says Indiana Jones, there's a silhouette of Indy, pretty much the same on this side as well. On the bottom of the box it says Indiana Jones, 1969, the adventure begins. Well, no, it didn't begin in 1969, but I won't mention anything if you don't. On the top just says Indiana Jones and the dial tone of dysentery. And around the back, what have we got? We've got all the usual warnings and credits going on here. You've got the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Density there, the warnings at the bottom there. It says, don't piss this figure off, or it may force you to drink the blood of Carly. No, it doesn't say that. But yeah, let's get this box open, have a quick look at it. Let's get that turntable out the way and have a look at what's going on inside. This is a brand new figure, literally just come through the door, ripped out of the hands of the delivery guy. So this is a voyage of discovery for all of us. Let's take a look, and inside we've got a very nice slipcover going on here. There's a picture of Indy on the left hand side, what looks like an airplane ticket, an airline ticket there from New York to Casablanca. There's a silhouette of Indy at the bottom there, IDL New York, I'm assuming that's Idlewild. There's a stamp on there as well. Yeah, just really nicely done, and it gives it that Indy vibe. So underneath the slipcover, when you take that off, if it wants to come off, you are greeted with the usual Hot Toys clamshells. There's the figure on the right hand side, all the accessories going on here, and that super heavy base that comes with the deluxe edition. So we shall do as we always do. Without further ado, we will dive down onto the table and let's have a look at all the accessories that come with your Indy figure. Okay folks, so accessories out, let's have a quick whiz through everything you get with the figure. We'll start with the mundane stuff, a set of instructions as always, and unopened as of yet, but I'm sure I'll be opening these up before we bring the figure out. So good to see. You get a set of button cell batteries, which I believe go in this torch, which Mr. Go Figure will probably just leave in the bag because regulars to the channel will know my feeling about button cell batteries, my personal loathing of them. And not being the biggest fan of light up features. Do like some, but not all, and I'm not really that fussed about getting a torch to light up, so yeah. Good to see you get instructions though, so I'll put those to one side. We'll take a quick look at the hands. You know me and my hand thing. Old man's hands today. There's an open palm pair on the figure already, and you get a variety of hands. There are fisted hands, there are gripping hands for the accessories. There's another gripping hand here, not quite sure what that's for, probably the dial itself, but let's have a look at the sculpt and paint application on these. And I've got to say, it's up to the usual Hot Toys high standard. The sculpt is really nice. You've got sculpted in fingernails there with cuticles. The creasing on the knuckles and the paint applications are really nice. There's a sort of a pink hue going on the knuckles there. The thing that really stands out about these hands is the bone work, and in particular the vein work. With Harrison Ford pushing 80 there, they've sort of accentuated the vein work in the backs of these hands, which is great to see, and it gives it that slightly aged look. So yeah, good work there, Hot Toys. Creasing in the palms, yeah, and overall, yeah, what we've come to expect from Hot Toys. Let's grab another one, another fisted one. Yeah, pretty much the same level of sculpt and paint application. So good hands and a good start. So let's pop those to one side. What else? You get his whip. Now, worth mentioning at this point, real leather throughout with this particular figure. I believe the whip itself is leather, his shoes are leather, the jacket is leather. So hopefully, with due care and attention, we will see none of that nasty disintegration that we see with pleather. So yeah, whip itself, really nice. It's all folded up at the moment, but we'll get that out when we bring the figure out. And yeah, just nicely done. It's bound, there's a wire running through it, so as you can see here, it's posable. You'll see more of that, as I say, when we get the figure out itself. But yeah, nicely bound, nicely done, and yeah, just very, very nice piece of work there from Hot Toys. Looks like the right scale, the right length, and the right colour. So yeah, that's your bendy posable whip. So pop that to one side. Comes with a tie. Not something I'm going to be using. I'm glad they didn't actually put this on the figure, so I had to futz around taking it off. I want to see Indiana Jones in a tie about as much as I want to see my grandmother in a bikini, so that won't be used, but it's pretty nicely done. The material's nice, and it's good to see they've got the knot already in there if you're wanting to use it on the figure. So yeah, that's his tie. Let's take a quick look at that torch. Nicely done this, actually. Get this into shot. Nice detailing on there, nice paint applications. Obviously you've got the LED at the front there, and you've got some weathering on there. You've got washers and dry brushing on there to give it that metallic aged look. And I believe, yeah, it just slots open like that. Small Phillips head screwdriver in there, slot in your loathsome button cell batteries, and the tiniest switch in the known universe just there will switch your torch on if you're wanting to use that feature. But even without that feature, it looks very good, and it's got a little swiveling head as well if you're wanting to use that. So yeah, nice torch. You also get his hammer, one piece of sculpted plastic, some nice detailing on the handle there to give that wood effect, and the head of the hammer itself has been nicely painted to give it that sort of slightly aged and metallic look. So yeah, nice hammer. What else? Pair of wire strippers, wire cutters, all one piece of sculpted plastic, and once again with that paint application, if the light's catching this, to give it that aged and weathered look. So yeah, very nicely done. No opening and closing action here, but overall pretty nicely done. You get the doohickey for moving the eyes. Obviously you've got the purse system here, and great to see that Hot Toys are going down the route of pretty much all their figures having the purse system, so it comes with that. Spare pair of wrist pegs, always great to see. Some spare buttons for Indy himself in case any go missing, and we know they have a tendency to fall off. Dab of crazy glue on here and you can replace them instantly. You get the dial of density as a destiny as well. All one piece of sculpted plastic. Nice paint applications on here, I must admit, to give it that sort of aged metallic look. You've got silvers in there, you've got golds going on, there's weathering around the edges, and there's that detailing on the back there, and overall, yeah, looks very convincing and very well painted and sculpted. No moving parts on this, but still, overall, it's been really well done and very effective. You also get his satchel and bag. Now, I believe the leather extends to the straps on these bags as well. I believe that this is leather, possibly. Correct me in the comment section below if I'm getting this wrong. If this feels more like leather, to be honest with you. The satchel strap feels definitely like leather, but the actual bag itself feels like it's feels more like pleather, but I will double check that between takes. Nice detailing going on here, nice stitch work, the colour is screen accurate, the buckles and the detailing is really nicely done. That stitch work is very good, as we come to expect from Hot Toys. And you get this rope which is slung underneath the flap of the bag itself. I won't be removing that, but I think that looks to me like it will come out and is usable, so if you're wanting to pose away with the rope, you can as well. So that's the bag. The satchel, pretty much the same story here. That green canvas, well stitched, and this does actually feel like leather. I am going to hazard a guess that this is leather, this strap, but metal buckles, I believe there. No, that actually feels like plastic, that one, but that one attaching there could be metal. And overall, nicely done. So yeah, that's the satchel. And last but not least, the huge stand. Now, as I mentioned at the top there, this is the deluxe version. Now, I believe the standard version comes with just the normal hexagonal Hot Toys base. It would have been nice to see Hot Toys include that, because this is a big chap, this base. It is, it's got some hefty proportions, and it's not going to fit in everybody's display. So having the option to have that hexagonal base would have been nice as well. So come on, Hot Toys, you could have thrown that in as well, and that's the post just coming off. Comes with a crotch grab. Well, not a crotch grabber actually, it's a leg grabber, this one, but we'll look at how this works. And I really like this idea. I think this is a cracking idea from Hot Toys. So what have you got? Well, the base itself, and as you can see, this section that slots in the top here, this post, is not the most secure of things. I noticed this straight out of the box. It's got that keyed peg system going on in there, but even when you've got that in place there, if the camera's getting this, is very loose, not the most secure thing in the world. So that, watch out for that. I noticed that straight out of the box. As soon as I picked it up, the whole thing just fell apart. But let's just lift the camera up so we can get this this whole base into shot. Right, there you go. Even a little bit more, just so we get all of it. Yeah, really nicely done, I've got to say. Supposed to replicate the sequence, I believe, when they are in Sicily, searching the cave, and they have to cross an underground river, and there's this old rickety bridge which eventually collapses. So yeah, hollow plastic, really it's not bad at all, and it looks good. There's no massive heft to this, which is good to see, because it's pretty much, as I say, hollow plastic. The detailing on here, the sculpt of this rock is quite nice. It's a little soft, I've got to say, just straight away out of the box, me looking at this, it's a tad on the soft side, the sculpt. The paint applications are good. You've got greys, browns, and greens in there almost to indicate moss. You've got the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny logo on the front there, which is nice. But it does just come off to me as being a tad on the soft side. Around the back here, you've got some of the lats from the broken bridge itself, and the sculpt and paint application on these lats is really, really nice to give it that wood effect. And once again, you've got the browns and the greens and so on going on in there to give it that worn and wood effect. And they're lashed together with actual string. Which is nice to see. It's not sculpted in this, it's not sculpted plastic, it's actual string. And then you've got the main parts of the supports for the bridge itself, which are actually made out of this sort of Hessian cord, and they're tied to this section, which, as I say, simply slots in there, if a little on the loose side, which is unfortunate. Party piece here is, if you remove this little stone on the top there, you can insert the leg grabber. Now, I'm not 100% certain which way round this goes, whether I'm getting this right or wrong. I will check between takes in the instructions, but you simply slot that leg grabber in there, and then you slide it up the inside of Indy's pants, and pretty much you've got him freestanding on here with no visible means of support, which I think is a fantastic idea. How that works, we will find out when we bring out Indy, but yeah, I think the base itself, although a little soft in places, is very, very nice indeed, but you're going to need some height in your display if you're wanting to display Indy on the top of it. So there you have it, folks, that's the accessories. So without further ado, let's bring out Indy, let's get him onto this rather nice base, onto the turntable, and take a close-up look at him. Okay folks, so here's Indy, straight out of the box and onto that rather amazing base. I haven't gone for a mad pose or attached any of the accessories because we're going to be taking him off, obviously, for a close-up look. But first impressions, I've got to say, are very, very good indeed. In fact, they're better than good. First impressions are, wow, I wasn't expecting something quite as good as this. The proportions look absolutely nailed on, even in that vanilla pose. The outfit looks absolutely spot on. We'll get to that head sculpt. And I think it works really, really well with this diorama base that Hot Toys have given us. But we'll do as we always do. Let's get up close and personal with Indy. Let's stop him from spinning. Worth mentioning as well, that leg grabber that you use with this particular base, it's not the easiest thing in the world to actually get in place. It takes a little bit of futzing. You don't want it too low because it will spring out and it will look ugly underneath the trousers. You don't want it too high for reasons that we'll get to. But when you hit that sweet spot, it looks fantastic, and it does leave you room to actually articulate that left leg as well. And I got it slightly the wrong way around. It actually goes this way around so that the leg grabber itself is facing that way. But yeah, overall, I am very, very impressed. So let's get him off this stand and let's take an up close look at him. And you have to actually take the leg grabber off and then remove it from the figure by sort of jiggling it round to the back there, giving it a squeeze, and it will slide out. You may have to pull up the pants a little bit, but we'll get it off for the purposes of this section. And it just, as I say, it just slots up there, as you can see. But it can be a little bit of futzing, but nothing too problematic. So we'll pop that to one side and let's have a look at Indy. So let's start at the bottom, and it does actually crease the trousers as well. So I would say be careful of that when you're pulling the trousers up to get that leg grabber on. It can cause the trousers to crease a little bit, so taking him on and off might, over a period of time, might cause some creases in there that might need ironing out. But yeah, let's lower this camera a little bit so we can get the lighting in on Indy and see all the details and bring these lights in. We'll start with at the bottom, as we always do, and work our way up. Let's take a look at these shoes now. Straight away, I've got to say, super impressed with these shoes that he's got on. Fantastic to see Hot Toys using real leather, and it most certainly is real leather. You can feel that. The stitch work in there is phenomenal. You've got real laces. The soles themselves have been weathered, as you can see underneath there. There's some weathering going on. This is sculpted in stitch work. even down to the layering of the heel there with that slightly different shade of brown, and there's weathering around the soles as well. To all intents and purposes, these are miniature shoes. They are miniature real shoes, and they look really, really good. I am very, very impressed. I've got to say, these are probably some of the best 1/6 scale shoes I have seen ever, or at least in a long, long time anyway. Underneath those shoes, you've got some black socks, which is great to see. Well, I say shoes, they are actually sort of ankle boots, but you've got that strip up the back there, and the stitch work is really good in there too. Articulation, really good, because it's on a peg joint there, ball peg, so you've got forward and backward, because you've got that movement in the leather. How this leather stands up over time is anybody's guess, but it's most certainly going to last a hell of a lot longer than pleather. And you've got pretty much a 360 all the way around. You've got a tilt to either side as well, so yeah, fantastic articulation in those feet. The body itself feels solid. It's not ridiculously heavy, but there's heft to it. It feels quality. These pants, very, very simple pants, but very difficult to get right in my opinion, and Hot Toys have nailed the colour here. They really have, if the light's catching that. It's sort of that grey with a very, very slight hint of purple, if that makes any sense. It's sort of like a plum grey, but they've nailed it. They really have here. Stitch work is phenomenal. It's the scale and proportions of that stitch work is great. There's no loose threads hanging down. Let's take a look at the articulation in the knees here. Yeah, super smooth ratchet joint at the knee there. I believe there's a double bend. Let's just alter that footer. Yeah, and that leg's going to go all the way up to the back there. So yeah, great double bend going on in the knee there. Working our way up, there is some padding on this figure. Now, as I mentioned, when you're using this this leg grabber, this is where this comes into play, because if you go sort of any further than just above the knee and into the thigh area, there is a small amount of padding, and you don't want that leg grabber to be pushing that up. So I would say exercise caution when you're using this if you're picking up the diorama base, because you don't want to shove that padding up there, because that would look ugly and it would be a pain in the arse trying to get that back down again. It's not a huge amount of padding. It feels like foam underneath there, but it feels like Hot Toys have just added a little bit of extra padding to give him that to give him the correct proportions, and it pretty much ends. Yeah, it ends at the top of the thighs there, so they just padded out the thighs ever so slightly. Around the back, that stitch work is continued. There's weathering around the bottom of these pants, which is nice to see. It's not overly done. It is there if you look. There's these brown colours going on at the bottom, but it's not overly done. I think they pitched it just right with the weathering there, Hot Toys. So let's just bring these lights in a little bit more so we can see the details. I'm going to scooch this light in as well, and maybe just turn it up a little bit so we can get some more light on this guy. There we go. Right, the jacket. Well, we'll come to the jacket. Let's just take a quick look underneath. You've got this belt at the top of the pants there, and there's a little bit of weathering in the crotch area, if the camera's catching that. You've got this sort of I would say gold canvas stroke nylon belt going on with the buckle going on. Not sure whether that's a metal buckle. It feels cold to the touch, so that could very well be metal, but it's weathered as well with those paint applications. The shirt underneath the jacket, beautifully stitched, beautifully put together. The colour's right. There is some padding in the midriff here actually. Yeah, that padding actually doesn't stop at the top of the legs. It goes all the way up, and there's padding in the stomach section as well. Not a vast amount. It's not as though he's got a paunch or anything like that, but there is padding going on. I think the padding actually stops just underneath the chest area. But yeah, stitch work on that shirt, really, really nice. Very, very well done. Those buttons are stitched in as well. I'm not sure whether we've got snaps underneath here. I don't think we have. Looks like that might... Oh, it's magnetic. Wow. That is amazing to see. It's such a great idea. Fantastic. Yeah, no ugly snaps that will rip the shirt. No oversized buttons that you have to try and fiddle through, and you can actually see the body underneath here. And I will open this shirt up so we can see his chest area. So yeah, you can see they've actually sculpted that chest area beautifully. Yeah, even down to the paint applications and the sculpt on the skin on the chest looking aged as it is on the neck there, with the wrinkles and the slight pink hues going on. They've continued that right down the body itself, and there's another magnet at the bottom there as well. So literally that's where you can actually start to see that padding there, that foam padding just below the chest area there. That black section is padding. But yeah, fantastic job on that upper body sculpt. The whole upper body has been sculpted and really well painted, and great to see magnets being used. So it's simply a case of just tucking it back like that and you're good to go. So great shirt, loving the magnets, great idea, colours on point, screen accuracy is there. This jacket now, I think collectors of 1/6 scale figures have been crying out for a good Indy jacket in real leather. I think it was Present Toys who did a version of it in real leather, but as memory serves, that looked a little bit off. I think getting 1/6 leather to look convincing in 1/6 scale is very difficult. It's all about the grain and the texture, and then the stitch work on top of that, the thickness as well. And I've got to be honest, I think Hot Toys have absolutely nailed it on here. The cut, the fall, the weathering on here, and it does look battered, but it's not overly battered. You've got these lighter sections going up. They're present in the collar area there, which is screen accurate, around the seams on the back where the stitch work is. There's slightly more pronounced, that weathering and that discoloration. Really good. Yeah, you've got the ties on the underneath the arms there, if the camera's catching that. The pockets stitched in, and I'm not sure whether these are they're functioning pockets. So you have the functioning pockets as well. And just overall, the fall, the fit, the finish, absolutely nailed on. Loving this jacket, I really am. There's probably going to be a lot of debate out there as to its colour, as to the proportions of it, but for me, that works and that looks screen accurate. Let's check the articulation, considering that this figure is padded. We'll check the waist. Yeah, you're a little bit limited in the waist area, in the waist section there. There's a little bit of forward and back, not much ab crunch going on, and not an awful lot side to side. I think that is probably down to that padding more than anything else, but there's a little bit of give in there. Perhaps could have been slightly better there. On that nylon belt, you've got a leather loop for the whip, if you're wanting to have it stowed away on his belt. Yeah, just overall, I've got to say, oh, and these are the relaxed hands that we spoke about when we were looking at the accessories. Same level of sculpt and paint application, that aging going on there. Head sculpt, let's talk about this head sculpt. I've got to say, that is an absolutely exceptional head sculpt in my opinion. I think there isn't an angle there where that isn't Harrison Ford. Now, Hot Toys have been doing Harrison Ford for a long time, so they've had plenty of practice at this, and that practice has paid off. I think that head sculpt, I'm going to chance my arm here, that is probably one of the best head sculpts I have seen from Hot Toys in a long time, if ever. It is scarily good. As we mentioned, that neck, that skin in the neck there with the paint applications and the creasing, absolutely on point. That's continued throughout the face with and I'm going to get this as close into camera as I can so you can see this. With those bags under the eyes, the creasing around the mouth there, the scar, which is sort of synonymous now with Harrison Ford. The hair, beautifully done with those greys and whites, feathered down over the ears there. Paint applications are great. The eyes, well, those eyes, super glassy, the right colour. The sculpting around the eyebrows themselves and the forehead and the creasing, it's just all there. It's absolutely all there. You pop this head sculpt off, and let's just take that off and have a look underneath. Inside, you've got access to the purse systems if the light's catching that, so you just put the little doohickey in the back there, and I'm going to be mucking around with these eyes before the showcase. That straight on look is good, but I think with them just off to one side, this figure's going to really pop and come even more to life than it already is. But you can see that that paint application and sculpt on the hair there is continued around the back as well. Let's pop that head sculpt back on. Unfortunately, I suppose the downside is that this hat, the fedora, is fixed to the head and is non-removable. It might have been nice to see that removable. Then you would have had to start doing all kinds of mucking around with the head sculpt itself, so I think Hot Toys have just plumped for this. And probably another thing I would have liked to have seen, and as I mentioned at the top, that I'm going to be getting a custom younger head sculpt for this figure, I would like to have seen a swap out younger version, because the first 20-22 minutes of the film we see a younger version of Indy, and that would have been a nice inclusion to have the younger head sculpt and the older head sculpt. I think that would have been the icing on the cake, so maybe a trick missed there by Hot Toys. But yeah, the fedora, even though it is sculpted plastic, is very, very well done. The colour's right, the style is right, paint applications are great, and it just looks on point, super on point, and yeah, absolutely amazing. So there you have it, folks. I think what we should do is get Indy back on that stand and go in for a final verdict. Okay, folks, so it's time for a final verdict on Indy. Dear, where to begin here? Oh, let's start with the good points. Let's start with that diorama base. Yes, it makes him super tall, but loving the detail on there, loving that sort of collapsed bridge look. I think it's fantastic. It really is just keeping in the Indy tradition. The figure itself. Well, we recently reviewed the Feral Predator on the channel, and that was not without its niggles, but I am struggling to find fault with this particular figure. Articulation on point, outfit superb, beautifully tailored, very simple but very, very well done. The use of leather, those leather shoes, the use of leather in the jacket as well, the whip, the wired whip, which is so much fun to work with and pose. The accessories, yes, it's got button cell batteries, but we'll let that pass. The backpack, the satchel, the whip, everything absolutely nailed on in the accessory department. That head sculpt. What can I say about that head sculpt? And I couldn't resist a little pose here. Superb head sculpt. Probably the best Harrison Ford head sculpt I have ever seen in my entire life. Now that is going some. But just everything nailed on. There are a few minor niggles here, and they are just that, minor. The sculpt on that base, perhaps a little soft in places for my taste, but overall that's probably a personal thing more than anything else. If I could level any other complaint about this, I mean, the articulation's nailed on, so there's no problems there. I would have liked to have seen a swap out younger head sculpt, but that's more a personal thing than it is a fault with the figure. And as regulars to the channel will know, if I can't find fault with a piece, if there is nothing to complain about, then I have to give it a 10. I can't quite give this a 10. I would say another niggle there is that leg grabber is a great idea, but it can be a little bit difficult. As you can see there, it does tend to stick through those trousers a little bit, and getting him in a dynamic pose on this base using that is not the easiest thing in the world without it showing underneath those trousers. And I think over time that could probably cause some damage. You can see it there, that framework sticking through. But these are minor niggles, minor niggles. I'm going to give this a 9.5. It is very, very close to a 10. It is, in fact, it's teetering on the precipice of a 10. I think it's a phenomenal piece of work, and considering it's from a film I am not a huge fan of, I think Hot Toys have done an incredible job here, and it makes up for those issues that we had with the Feral Predator. I think Hot Toys have flexed with this one and flexed well, so there you have it. That's a 9.5 for Indy. What are your thoughts on this piece? I would be fascinated to hear. What are your thoughts on the movie? What are your thoughts on the figure? What are your thoughts on Hot Toys? Yeah, nothing is off menu, so please drop a comment in the comment section below. I would be fascinated to hear your take on this figure. What's coming up on the channel? Well, on its way to us as we speak is Caustic Plastics' web exclusive version of James Braddock, aka Chuck Norris, from that cheesy war fest that is missing in action. So that's coming up soon. But we've also got more figures from Hot Toys. We've got figures from InArt, from Susu Toys, from Present Toys, from Exo6, from Caustic Plastic, as I mentioned, from Iconic Studios. So please, as I mentioned at the top there, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the new figures that we've got coming up for review. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is from Indy and myself, a massive thank you for watching, and as always, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.